This program is part of the Cosmic Potato Podcast Network. For more shows like this, visit our website at cosmicpotatonetwork.com.
Watching television, watching television. Watching television, watching television. I need all the image, I need all the sound, I know the info right into my mind.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Trial by Pilot. This is the show where we judge an entire series of television and the work of hundreds on one episode. I'm Bill Lynch.
I'm Elizabeth Lynch.
And we just moved into a new house.
Yay! Cheers.
Don't spill this on the equipment. I don't know if you could hear that tiny, tiny clink with our baby champagne flutes. So, this is now 4 weeks into quarantine.
I think so.
Yeah, and people are probably listening to it 5 or 6 weeks in. We moved in the middle of this global pandemic.
Yeah.
We are in our new...
Fortunately, we got to. It was a little hairy there for a minute.
Yeah, we do not have a recording space set up yet. It will eventually be in our office/playroom, but that is unpainted and unfinished and is really, really echoey. So
There's no furniture in there,
right,
to absorb any sound. So.
Yeah, so we're in our dining room, and it's probably echoey, but people are gonna have to deal with it for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
because the world's all fucked up.
Right. So it's just the two of us right now.
The two of us.
And it probably will be for a little while until we can all be together again.
Yep, just the two of us. Bad sound. We're not even talking about a specific show today, so there's lots of reasons to tune in.
This episode just feels like the last couple of weeks. Like, what day and what time is it? I don't know.
Yeah, we're just doing a little quarantine homecoming, quarantine housewarming.
Yeah, we have our Prosecco, courtesy of our realtor.
Yep.
Shout out to Joe Colella from Remax.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
So, let's talk about Tiger King.
Okay.
We did not... We didn't do a traditional pilot episode for Tiger King because we did a documentary in the past. I don't think it was our most interesting episode. You know, documentaries are documentaries. But we binged the entire series of this, the 7 episodes. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to like talk about some general stuff. Also, I mean, everyone's talking about Tiger King.
Yeah.
But
no one really needs our take on it.
So are we, motherfuckers.
Yeah, so.
What an absolute fucking insane cast of characters that I don't think anyone could even imagine or write.
Yeah, I thought Love is Blind was the weirdest, most ridiculous show I had seen on Netflix or just anywhere. But then Tiger King came out and I was like, oh, no, this is like this whole weird underbelly of a world I know nothing about. And now I know a lot about it.
Yeah, I mean, it starts off with Joe Exotic, who is just insane right off the bat, clearly has some issues going on. Mm-hmm. But even beyond that, just like on the complete base layer, he's this gay, tiger-owning, gun-toting, foul-mouthed zoo owner from Oklahoma?
I think it was Oklahoma.
And he's rivals with this sociopath.
I'm sorry, you left out the word predator. I think that should go in his.
Sure. No.
Absolutely.
He is, but we don't find that out off the bat.
Fine.
I'm talking about like...
We don't know that yet.
From beat number 1, he is an insane person.
Yeah.
And there's all this stuff. But then as you go through, it becomes even more insane. Like, it just keeps escalating.
Yeah.
Carol Baskin, you think like, all right, how could it possibly get any crazier than this rivalry between these two? And then they introduce Doc Antle, who talk about fucking predator.
Oh,
He's like clearly running a sex cult.
Yeah. Where they're literally slaves or indentured servants, at least.
Yeah. And then as we go on, you get introduced to this Jeff guy and the Chucky guy. I mean, these people are just... And then there's the other piece of shit guy who has the name of his company is like Wildlife on the Brink, something that would make you believe he's helping wildlife. That like super piece of shit misogynist guy who helps Jeff out at the very, very end, and then they get into a fight.
Oh, I couldn't remember the name of his. And it's
Me
so
neither.
weird how like connected all of these people are, because they're all like, well, I told Joe this and I talked to Joe about that. I'm like, how do you
Yeah.
guys all know Joe? They all know each
guess-
other. They're all like trading these tigers,
Yeah.
which is like, they don't show anything extremely graphic as far as like animal abuse goes, but the whole show is just really like in the background is just these animals being held in captivity, which is like super fucking depressing.
Yeah.
Like they're not supposed to be there.
So many of them. Didn't Joe have like 200 and something
Yes.
tigers? And at
Something
one
like
point, there's
that.
just like a cage, and there's just dozens of adult tigers just like milling about this cage, waiting for food.
Waiting
It's
for food, waiting
so
for their
fucked up.
expired Walmart meat.
Oh my god! No, sorry, they used that on the pizza. The pizzeria
They used that on the
built.
pizza when they opened a pizza place on the zoo. It was like,
Guys.
could this even, guys? I'm sure most people listening to this have already seen it, so it's not like they need us to tell it. I don't know, maybe, but like we just want to talk about it because it's like you need to talk about the most insane thing that you've seen, and the most I can't even say the most insane thing, but the most disgusting thing I saw was them opening a pizza place on the zoo, because why the fuck not, and using expired meat from a Walmart dumpster that they had a deal. This is how they could afford to feed all these tigers, is they worked out this deal with Walmart. They could get whatever, like meat couldn't go back on the shelf at the end of the day. His employees were allowed to pick through that first because they got paid like $100 a week or something, whatever. And they could like find whatever like good cuts of meat, and then that's what they would feed the tigers.
Yeah,
Maybe tigers don't care if like
probably
meat
not.
chicken's been sitting out for 3 hours and that's why they couldn't go back on the shelf or something.
Well, that's what they said. That like if someone comes up to the register with meat and then for whatever reason they don't complete the sale, like they decide they don't want it or something
Mm-hmm.
happens or they return it, they can't put it back on the shelf.
Which I didn't know that was a policy,
I didn't either,
stores?
but it doesn't surprise me
because
that it
I've
is.
definitely done that before. And so if I know that they're just dumping that, like I'm definitely not going to do that anymore. Like you know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
you're walking around the store, like, oh, actually, I don't think I need this.
Sure,
and
yeah.
like you just give it back to them. But I
Well,
didn't
they're not
realize.
dumping it; they're giving it to tigers. Yeah, and, I mean, this zoo is like in the middle of this dusty ass strip of land in Oklahoma. It doesn't look impressive at all. It's just
No.
just a bunch of cages and mud, and then they open up this like, you know, they try to make it seem upscale pizzeria in the middle of this
Yeah.
restaurant. That is such a small part of the fucking
Yeah.
show. I have seen people on social media, multiple people, that have said like, I'm not going to watch the show. It's going to upset me too much
Yeah.
because of the content, you know, animal abuse, whatever.
Right.
And, you know, maybe that's true. They don't actually show a lot.
They don't, but they show enough where you like far enough into it where you realize like, oh, these people are not, these aren't good people. Like these tigers aren't in good hands.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Like they don't show them like being beaten, but they're showing them being like really disrespected, and you realize that like they don't care about these animals whatsoever.
Right.
It's not about them. It's like this weird ego booster to like own a tiger.
Yeah. I have to say, it was a little bit, I don't know if intriguing is the right word.
Fascinating.
It was just kind of fascinating to me to see at the very end of the last episode, they show some like old footage of Joe Exotic, whatever his name was, Maldonado, whatever. Back when he was like first starting the zoo or first getting into wildcats.
Yeah.
And he was talking and it's like, hey, this guy like really seems to care for them. And he's
Yeah.
like talking about their welfare and how we need to protect them in the wild. And it seemed genuine.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously we miss a big gap from there to where he is in this series,
Yeah.
but he doesn't give a shit about these animals. He wants to be famous. He wants to be rich.
Yeah. He just starts breeding them because that's what makes them money.
Yeah, which he is speaking out against in that
Right.
old clip.
He also like started using tigers to speak out against drugs because his brother died from a drug overdose or was killed by a drunk driver.
Something like I
I don't remember, but he like was speaking out against drugs, but then like he was really just like feeding his. That's how he kept. He got 2 straight men to marry him.
Yeah.
Because he just pumped them full of drugs that they were addicted to.
Yeah.
And convinced them that they were gay.
Yeah. And both of them
were not.
And like were having sex with women on the property. One of them eventually got out and left Joe to marry a woman who worked there. And the other guy killed himself.
Right.
Which is also, I mean, I don't know anyone close to me that has committed suicide, but I feel like that should have been like a warning on the show. Like,
yes, I didn't know that was coming.
I saw somebody post that on Facebook.
Yeah,
and I happened to know that she had a family member, and she's like, just in case anyone needs to hear this, like episode 5, don't watch it if So
absolutely.
So anyway, my point was, people were saying, I'm not going to watch this because of the animal abuse. Ignoring all that stuff. I mean, not that you should ignore it. Just like somehow looking past it, it is such a fucking spectacle. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's also a complaint that people have about the show, is like, it's just sensationalizing these things.
Right. Oh, it definitely did.
Oh yeah. And like ignoring like the real issue here, which is like animal abuse.
Yeah.
And
people abuse.
Sure. But it was just jaw-dropping how completely bonkers all of these people are.
Yeah.
I mean, certifiably insane. Like Doc Antle, every time that guy spoke.
Oh, I hated him with such a passion.
He didn't understand half of the words he was using. Mm-hmm. I'm very confident of that.
But he had crazy eyes.
Yeah.
And he was probably like a sociopath or something.
100%. 100%.
He was so full of shit.
Yes.
It made my stomach turn. He was so full of shit. And then they had a woman. So he has a zoo as well. And he's like, basically like what did he have everyone call him? What did all the women that worked there have to call him?
Some nickname that meant
God.
Basically God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's running a cult. It's a sex cult. He only has women working there. They have to dress up like tigers. And they work 12-hour days. They get paid $100 a week. And they live in these like really like run-down trailers with roaches like infesting them. But if you have sex with him, you get a better house. He has like this huge, ridiculous complex with like all these different houses.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes around and shows like, oh, so-and-so lives there and so-and-so lives there. And it's like just the women who have had sex with him. And so they had someone who got out of that, and she was explaining it, and she didn't sleep with him, but they basically made her get breast implants. And she said one of the reasons, she's like, I don't remember agreeing to it, but it was like heavily suggested and I did it. And she said, and the idea of, being able to sleep after the surgery was so tempting.
Oh yeah. Like she got 3 days off.
She got 3 days off of work.
Oh my gosh.
That's something that like, I know that in the end they said, I think he was like investigated for, having like gas chambers or some way the way he like euthanized his animals.
His place got raided after the show wrapped in like December 2019 or like early 2020. But I just did a very quick search and I couldn't find that he was charged with anything. Because
those women are being abused. Aside from the animal abuse, those women are being abused. And that was like very fucking upsetting.
Yeah.
I mean, so was everyone on Joe Exotic's. Those people were brainwashed.
Yeah.
Not just his husband's, but all of his employees. One woman lost her fucking arm and just went back to work because she didn't want Joe to have bad press.
Right away.
And she just like went back to work right away. She was like, I think we've talked about this before because we were like, is there anyone who's a decent human being on this show? Because there really isn't.
Right.
Except for 2 of Joe's employees.
Yeah. The former manager
who had no legs.
Yeah.
And then the woman with...
Unrelated to...
he just like didn't have legs. And then the woman who lost her arm.
Yeah.
They were like decent people. And maybe the
Carol Baskin's husband.
oh, Carol Baskin's husband, the one who's alive.
I wish Casey was on this episode. I just kept thinking, what an absolute fucking cuck this guy was.
I know.
I mean, the definition. There's a photo of their wedding day, I think, where he's dressed as a tiger and she has him on a leash and he's just like down on all fours at her feet.
Yeah, it's
The two of them.
so weird.
I mean, there were certainly more like evil
like,
people on this show than him,
uncomfortable.
but he was just embarrassing to watch. And
Yeah.
she definitely killed her husband.
Okay, yeah, so I guess we're going to get into that.
Come on.
I think that there's an argument for both sides. I mean, he definitely could have just up and left her.
There wouldn't have been traces of him anywhere. They went to, where was it, Costa Rica?
Costa Rica. I
They
mean,
went there.
can't people go there and like disappear?
Costa Rica's
He
a
had-
fucking tourist country. It's not like you're going to like the middle of Kenya or something.
Yeah. No, she probably did. I think I just kind of want to be contrarian because everyone's like, Carol Baskin killed her husband. And so I just want to like argue that maybe she didn't.
Yeah.
I also think that that's like, he was also like an abusive guy, her husband, or at least the way that like,
Sure.
I mean, who knows? We don't actually know. That's
Yeah,
what she said about it. But it's like, I know murder is not okay.
Right.
I'm not
That
saying
doesn't excuse
that.
her killing him.
No, it doesn't.
And there are, like, he had filed for a restraining order, and like his friends and his lawyer were on this documentary saying like how she was threatening him, and I forget all
I
the
want to
details.
make it very clear. Like, I don't think Carol Baskin's a good person either.
Right.
I think she's also like a total piece of shit. I think she was just on the quote unquote like right side of this because she used to breed tigers and now she's trying to save them. But like, she's also like running a place where like everyone who works for her is a volunteer. And they all just like want to be around tigers. So everyone
man.
works themselves to the bone.
What a racket.
Yeah, no, really, because they're charging people to get in there. And it's like, okay, ultimately you're trying to save these tigers, but at the end of the day, you're saving them and keeping them in captivity. I mean, what else are you supposed to do?
You know-
there needs to be legislation where like you cannot own, breed and sell tigers like this. Like,
Sure. I mean,
and enforced.
Well,
but
at some point, what do? You euthanize them, or you keep them in a zoo.
right.
You're not bringing them back to Africa or India.
I just don't think that she's all exactly what she says she is. That's all.
Oh, me
I mean,
neither, yeah.
she's fighting for it, but she's also has ego, wants to be famous, and all these followers. And she just kind of like everybody hated her because she just really played the game a little bit better as far as like gaining popularity. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do like all the "Hey, all you cool cat and kittens."
Oh my god, yeah.
So the most insane part of this entire series is that Joe Exotic, running for governor of Oklahoma,
Oh my god.
got 19% of the vote. 19% of the fucking vote.
Did you remember that he ran for president? He was not running as a Republican. Was he running as a Republican?
No, independent.
Independent.
Or libertarian?
No, he ran for governor as a libertarian.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. I vaguely remember it, but I don't know if it's an actual memory, if I'm just making it up. Because every presidential cycle, there's a couple just complete wackos. NJ Weedman ran, I think, for president.
I don't
Or for
remember.
governor. Yeah. There's always like one or two people like that.
Yeah.
But the fact that 19% of the population voted for him,
I know.
I guess, I mean, that shows you why we have the president we have now. Like,
Yeah.
people are just dumb.
Yes.
I mean, they show Joe Exotic talking to people, and like he could be, I don't know. I didn't buy it because I just saw what a bullshitter he was, but he could be charming in a way.
Yeah.
And I think that's why so many of his employees were so loyal, is because he was charming, and we saw him early on, and like he actually did have passion for this mission and for these animals, and the zoo employees that had been there since the beginning probably saw that and were loyal to him because of that.
Right.
And then he just declined and turned into this other person.
Yeah. Very upsetting.
Yeah.
And then after his husband tragically killed himself because he was so abusive
Yeah.
and wouldn't let him leave the property.
Yeah.
And just like, basically this kid, he was like, I don't know, 19 when he met him. So he's like young. I can't remember how old he was when he died, but in his 20s.
In his 20s, yeah.
And he basically just like did meth and smoked weed and shot guns on this property. And like, that is it. Like, that was his life. And he just was like kept there. Like, he just wasn't allowed to leave.
Yeah.
So anyway, after he kills himself, he finds somebody else to marry like 2 months later.
2 months later, and he invites his dead husband's mother to the funeral. I mean, to the wedding. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, it was at the funeral where he gave a eulogy talking about how his husband would come into the room all the time with his balls out and slap his balls around his face.
Yeah. God, he was such a...
Oh, man.
He was just a narcissist. Like and then he would sing. We didn't even talk about his music videos.
Oh my god, we can't even get into it.
We
all.
can't. We can't get into all of it. But
you've
like,
probably seen it.
He sang at the funeral, and it's just like so embarrassing. And
I did just want to say, and I mentioned this to you while we were watching it. I forget the guy's name now. The producer, who was like an actual producer in Hollywood that was making like the Joe Exotic TV show and a reality show. I just want that guy to like be around and just like talk. Like while I'm going about my everyday life.
It's like ASMR.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a great voice.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like 2 packs a day at least.
Oh yeah.
But it was a great voice.
All right. I think we've talked enough about.
Probably everyone knows.
King.
Everyone's talked about this already. Super upsetting.
So my other plan for tonight, which never came to fruition, was I wanted to watch some quick Quibi pilots. If you've been on the internet, you've probably seen advertisements for fucking Quibi.
Is it Quibi or is it Quibi?
Quibi. It is Quibi.
Quibi, okay.
Yeah, that's what I said, Quibi. Prosecco kind of
Bill's
tastes...
never wrong, you guys. I don't know if you've noticed.
Prosecco kind of tastes like wine-flavored La Croix.
The Croix. Wine flavored The Croix.
Doesn't it?
I mean, yes.
LaCroix for all you basic folks out there. You know, it's kind of like the effervescence of seltzer, but it's got like a little wine flavor to it.
Right, it's sparkling wine.
Yeah.
Like sparkling water, it's sparkling wine.
Yeah, it's like wine flavored La Croix.
Okay.
So anyway,
I
Quibi.
just think it's funny. Wine flavored La Croix. Like, no, it's just wine. It is wine.
It was a fucking joke.
I know.
So Quibi has been advertising everywhere as this new streaming platform that offers 10 minutes or less per episode of new original content.
Because we're just go, go, go.
Yeah, we gotta have content. And you can only watch it on your phone. It is mobile only. You cannot watch it on a computer or a TV. They have made sure that you cannot take screenshots of your phone while you're watching it.
Oh, really?
It is mobile only. They made it.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah.
Chill
They
out.
made it so you're waiting in line somewhere or you're hopping on the train real quick and you can like quickly watch like an 8-minute episode. And the guy's like some big like producer mogul, and he put like $1 billion into it. I think he raised $1.75 billion for the platform. He like has all these connections in Hollywood. And
Who is it? Do you know?
I
Do
don't
you
know.
remember
I
his
don't
name?
remember the name. But like Chrissy Teigen has her own show where she's a judge.
Okay.
Give me a break. So Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones, she played Sansa, is starring in a show called Survive.
Okay, so can I just say something?
Sure.
She does one of the Quibi commercials,
Yeah.
and she's like getting fitted for a dress. And literally, like, I didn't know what Quibi was because all I can stare at in that commercial are her legs.
Oh, really?
She has, like, I mean, she's beautiful, but she's amazing legs.
Yeah,
And she's like getting fitted for a dress with a slit and one leg is out. And I'm like, I mean, they knew. They were probably like, just pop this out. Or she was like, can I just pop my leg out? Because it looks really good today. I'm having a good leg day. I mean...
I'm sure they told her to do it.
So Bill told me what Quibi was because I've seen the commercial a million times and I just keep looking at Sophie Turner's legs.
Cool. Remind me to look at that commercial. So I saw a couple of reviews that said that she was really good in her show. But, I mean, so many people were just criticizing the fact that you could only ever watch it on your phone, especially because we're now in the middle of this global pandemic. Everyone is quarantined. No one is going on the subway
Right.
or on a bus. Maybe people are waiting in line for groceries, but
People are like home with their, I mean, some people don't live with anyone, but like a lot of people are home with their families. Just sit around and like stare at a show on their phone.
Right.
Like,
But-
what can we all watch together?
oh no, yeah. I mean, people are binging a shit ton of TV right now.
Yeah.
They're not doing it in 5-minute increments on their fucking cell phones.
Yeah.
And what I read a lot was I was trying to find a way to watch some of the pilots without downloading the free trial so they can try to charge me when I
How much does it cost?
Oh my God.
You have to pay for this?
Hold on, we'll get to it.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to it. Yeah, you have to pay for it. It's a subscription service.
Oh my God, that's so stupid.
Yeah, but everyone's complaint was, well, actually, let's just get to it now. It costs, I think it's $4.99 a month to watch these shows with advertisements.
What?
If you want them with no advertisements, it's $7.99 a month. And that is $1 less than Netflix. So they think that people are going to pay just about as much as Netflix to watch these like 5 to 10 minute episodes while they're waiting in line.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care about it enough to even try to like get it illegally or whatever. Like,
I mean, I was trying for a little while and I just couldn't find it. I don't think anyone cares enough to put it
Right.
on to try to steal it. And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to give up because I don't care about watching these shows.
how much did he raise for this? $1 billion something?
I think it was 1.75 billion. And I mean, they have Will Forte on a show and other like known people. I think somehow Reese Witherspoon is either on a show or just like did a guest appearance or helped promote it or something because she's friends with this guy.
The thing is all of these people. Well, let's take Chrissy Teigen for example. If I care enough about Chrissy Teigen to like watch her for 10 minutes a day, I'm just going to go to her Instagram where she's pumping out free content all the time. I don't care to see her be a judge. You know, like
Right.
Or like I mean, I don't have TikTok, but like all these people are on TikTok. Like I can spend 10 minutes of my day watching these people. I don't care enough about, like, I understand that it's like a scripted show, but like that's not enough of a pull for me. Like, oh, Chrissy Teigen has a show. I better download this app. Like, I don't really care that much about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so I just pulled up the site and there's a show with Jennifer Lopez and Kevin Hart. Although I think that's not scripted. I think it's like some reality thing. Something with Titus, a cooking competition. There is...
Come on.
Yeah.
Give us something else. Like Netflix has a cooking competition. Your like almost free cable has a cooking competition. Like,
Yeah, and then so a lot of the reviews I read were, you know, these shows are sometimes 5 minutes an episode. There's a show with Will Arnett called Memory Hole, and it's just him watching like old videos. And they said they watched 3 episodes, and each one was 5 minutes, and you have to watch commercials before the episodes because he didn't get the ad-free version. He's like, I can do this on YouTube
right.
for free. There's more interesting content there where I'm not paying $5 or $8 a month.
Yeah, there's so many platforms where like even if you have to watch YouTube, like ads with YouTube, like you can, I don't know. It just seems like there's like more interesting things out there on YouTube or Netflix or just whatever people are like putting out their own stuff.
Right.
That seems really silly. I didn't realize that you had to pay for it.
Oh, yeah. Of course you have to pay for it.
Oh, I know.
You have to pay for CBS All Access.
I know.
Of course you have to pay for Quibi.
See, I would pay for CBS All Access before I paid for that. Because then at least you're getting like full shows.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
the CBS All Access also has commercials, right?
I don't know.
I think so. I
don't
think
know.
it does.
Yeah, the fact that these are like little 5 to 10 minute things that you can find on so many other platforms for free, or like that similar content for free.
Similar content. Something would have to be really good where someone's like, you cannot miss this, for me to then go get a free trial
Right.
to watch it.
So,
But I feel like they must be banking on the fact that there are a lot of people who sign up for free trials and forget about it.
I guess. But they
I don't. I put that in notification
But they
right in my
pumped
phone.
so much money into it. They're not just banking on this. They think this is going to be a big success.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe.
And I mean,
Came out at the wrong time.
it came out at the wrong time, and I don't think it's a solid model anyway.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I read a bunch of reviews, and a lot of them had criticisms like that, like, why am I watching this 5-minute thing where I have to pay for it and watch commercials when I can go onto YouTube or Instagram Live or wherever else?
Yeah.
And a couple of people said some of the scripted stuff was actually good. Like, the Sophie Turner show was actually intriguing, but it's 10 minutes. It just felt like a show that they arbitrarily chopped into 10-minute episodes and then added a bunch of commercials to. Mm-hmm. Like, just make it a fucking 30-minute show
Right.
or an hour-long show.
They must have raised all that money to like be able to pay all these actors to do this dumb thing.
Yeah.
You know
like,
what I mean?
LeBron
Like,
James has a fucking show.
yeah, this doesn't sound.
Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, this isn't interesting to me. But I think they are like trying to get like names that people really, really like.
Sure, yeah.
You know, to entice them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe like kids who have their parents' credit card. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's a question. Now that we know Quibi's dumb, and talked about it at
I believe
length.
it's pronounced Quibi.
Quibi. What are you most excited about now that we're in our new house? Mm-hmm. Okay, which is a lot bigger than our old house.
And that's not a brag because our old house was fucking small.
Yeah, it was just small. We have some room to breathe here. And when we signed up for like Wi-Fi, we decided to get regular cable, which we hadn't had before for a long time. So now we have access to like all of these networks. What are you most excited to like catch up on or be able to watch without searching?
You know,
Without porn ads in between all of our shows.
why would I want to eliminate those? So we've been here for about a week and a half now, and I haven't really watched much TV or like searched around. I know
Yeah.
that you have found Monk.
I found Monk and I found Psych on the Hallmark Movies and Mysteries channel. So I set a record. Monk, Psych, and Murder, She Wrote are all on that channel. And those are like my three, like, along with Gilmore Girls, like my comfort shows. Like, I just want to like get a cup of tea and cozy up with some shortbread and a blanket and watch those cozy mysteries.
Man, we watched like 20 or 30 minutes of an episode of Monk the other day. It's so good.
It's so good. And we should absolutely do the pilot.
We did the pilot to Monk. Yeah, I mean,
It's incredible.
obviously Monk himself is fucking fantastic.
Right.
All the side characters are so good. They all like play off of him so well. Mm-hmm. It's so clever and funny. Man, that's a great show.
Yeah. It's like the definition of cozy. I love a cozy show. And like, so like Murder, She Wrote, I love, it has like holds a lot of nostalgia for me. It's like how I kind of like fell in love with like that whole like cozy mystery genre. But like, it's got its faults. And I know that. Like, I mean,
I can't do Murder, She Wrote.
yeah, I love it. But like, it's not a perfect show.
It hasn't aged quite as well as
Right.
some of the other shows.
But Monk is just like, even Psych. I love Psych too. I think Psych is a great show. We love that. It's funny. But I think Monk is like just a little bit better. It's
Yeah.
cleaner,
Yeah.
just slightly more interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll watch some episodes of Monk
Yeah.
in the near future. So other than that, I haven't really explored anything. I guess, do we get AMC?
I think so.
So I am watching the current season of Better Call Saul. So I'm excited to continue that because it's very, very good. I think it's... I mean, if you liked Breaking Bad and you're not watching Better Call Saul, I really don't know what's wrong with you.
That was directed like directly at me. He was staring right into my eyes when he said
Well, no,
that.
you didn't watch Breaking Bad.
Oh, I thought you said like if you didn't watch either of those.
No, if you have watched Breaking Bad and you're not watching Better Call Saul, I don't know what's wrong with you. If you haven't watched Breaking Bad, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Right.
Either way. And Killing Eve starts on Easter Day, which will have been in the past by now.
Okay.
So I assume we'll be watching that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know when the new season of Barry starts.
I don't think we get HBO though.
I know, I'm just saying
okay.
we'll be watching that.
That's not in our package, Bill.
Oh, boy.
But Stars is
What's on Stars?
Dublin Murders.
Oh, that's right. Yes, months later, Elizabeth is still convinced that we're going to watch Dublin Murders.
Listen, if you don't want to watch it, I'm going to go ahead and watch it. But I didn't finish watching it the other night because I didn't continue watching it the other night when you were playing games because I was waiting for you.
Well, you rewatched the pilot, but then you were just on your phone the whole time.
During the parts I just wanted a refresher.
I know, I'm just kidding.
So you let me know because I'm like ready to watch that show, but I won't watch it without you if you're like interested in watching
Well,
it.
here's the thing. Yes, we're quarantined. Oh, everyone gets to just watch TV all day. Now, we have a fucking 3-year-old.
Yeah, we don't get to do
We have a 3-year-old, and we're both working from home. It's not relaxing.
It's not relaxing. Not to sound like we are complaining in any way.
Oh, I'm fucking complaining.
No, we were lucky enough we actually got to, we moved out of our tiny house. It would have been much harder if we were still there.
Tiny house.
We're in a lot of space. We have a lot of outdoor space around us. We are safe and fortunate to still have our jobs, and we're like lucky to be in the situation we're in. That being said, no, I mean, we have a lot of like privilege in this situation, but it's not
conducive to watching a lot of television.
right.
We can't just
we'll
sit,
say that.
We can't just sit on our asses in the middle of the day watching a bunch of TV.
Yeah, no.
And
Because
so-
Billy's doing that because we're working.
Right. Billy should take over this podcast and talk about Wildcrats
Yes.
for a while.
Poor kid.
So it's not like we have a ton of time like usual. So, we're going to be watching Killing Eve. We have only watched the first episode of the new season of My Brilliant Friend. Mm-hmm. Did you forget about that?
I did forget about that.
Yeah.
Until I was listening to one of our episodes of the podcast today, and I was like, oh, yeah, because we talked about it.
We got to get going on that. I'm still watching Better Call Saul. I need to watch the 3rd season of Westworld that just started.
All right. Well, listen, if you feel overbooked,
Are we going to continue watching Dispatches from Elsewhere, or have we completely abandoned that one?
I mean,
We watched 4 episodes now. There's probably 4 to 6 left.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Because we really have like limited time. And it's funny, we're not going anywhere. So you'd think we'd have a lot of time. But like basically, we have the same amount of time that we had before.
Right.
Because we have to wait until after bedtime. And everything's open in this house. So like we can't like go into a room and watch a show and Billy someplace else or whatever. Like, or one of us be in the room watching TV. Like we only have the one set up. So like,
And one of us is usually on a video meeting for work.
right. Like there's no, yeah. But like even at night, like we've had so many like virtual hangouts. Like, oh, we can watch a show tonight. Like, well, we're, doing like house party with my family, or you're playing like board games online, or
Yeah.
or we're playing board games in person, just the two of us.
Right.
Which is like also a nice way to pass time when we like really didn't make a lot of time to do that before. So I'm kind of looking forward to, like, there's so much TV to watch, but in this time where we don't have to be anywhere, it's nice to like find other things to do too.
Yeah. As long as we continue watching shitty pilots for this podcast.
Oh, we're going to keep that up.
Okay, good.
We gotta give the people what they want.
Yep.
That is our responsibility in these trying times.
We're thinking about you guys.
You know what I'm so excited to watch? Is what's the one with Lauren Lapkus's husband?
Brew Bros?
Brew Bros. I'm so excited to watch that.
Is that what it's called? Brew Brothers?
Brew Brothers.
Bruise Brothers. Bruise Brothers.
Bruise Brothers.
Yeah.
I get it.
Which is an upcoming comedy on Netflix.
Yeah, we're gonna watch that. I have
Maybe it's
such
out by now?
I have such a crush on him.
I know. You talk about it all the time.
I do. Mike Castle. He's so cute. I would have absolutely had a crush on him in high school.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't. I just was dating you in high school, but like...
Well, you did, but his name was Neil Gargiulo. Does he kind of look like him? In like a very, very...
No, you know... No, he doesn't look like him.
Well, him in high school probably looked like Neil in high school.
No.
All right, whatever.
No.
I just like making fun of you for that crush.
I know. Neil was like more of a man.
Oh my gosh.
I had such an embarrassing crush on that guy. He has a pilot coming out, doesn't he?
Maybe. I remember something.
Yeah.
I mean, we should do that. We should have him on.
Yeah. Well, no one can be on with us now
Yeah, that's true.
for a long time.
They can sit outside, and I'll run a wire out the front door.
I could sit over there and that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What else do we have to talk about? Anything?
I don't think so. I'm just like really happy that we're here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is our quarantine housewarming.
Yeah.
And this Prosecco is 11%.
It is?
Yeah. So imagine a beer this size, which is the size of most of our beers, but 11%.
I didn't realize that. Well, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good Prosecco. No, I'm just happy we're here and that we're like together, and we're kind of like at the point where we live in New Jersey, so I don't know what it's like where everyone else is. But when we're recording this, we're kind of at the point where they're like, the next 2 weeks are really important for everyone to like stay home. Like, because, you know, no one's been able to do that before now. Really stay home. So like, I just went to the store today and bought like 2 weeks worth of groceries.
An insane amount of groceries.
Got everything like cleaned, wiped down. Like, I just feel like we're kind of like set up. Like I have everything set up, my printer and everything like from the office. I don't have to go into the office at all.
Yeah.
And like, I'm ready to like really hunker down and like stay cozy and watch some shows at night.
Yeah.
You know, like do some fun. I like made a bucket list I feel like we're behind on the whole like, you know, like homeschooling your kid thing. Like, we have not gotten our shit together with that.
Yeah.
So I like, everyone else has like had like, you know, all their activities in a list. I made a bucket list today of
Fuck
things,
those people.
of things I want to do with Billy. And we're like 4 weeks into this shit. Like,
Hey, anyone that's being really, really productive right now, fuck you.
we're still living out of boxes.
Keep it to yourself.
Someone said to me, they're like, oh, it's so good. Like, you're quarantined. Like, you have to stay home. You'll get so much done in your house. I'm like,
No.
oh, no, we
I'm a
can't.
3-year-old.
But we're doing the best we can.
Yeah.
And we're having fun.
All right. Well, seriously, everyone, I hope that all of you out there are doing well and that this hasn't, you know, completely brought you down. And I hope that we can add just a tiny, tiny bit of
Levity.
to the whole situation. So
Not to like toot our own horn or anything. I just like hope that.
yeah, I mean, like if you're like severely depressed and anxiety ridden, just like listen to all of our old episodes and you'll be fine.
Start out with Rise, okay?
Oh gosh, don't start out with Rise.
Yeah, no. But no, really, I hope everyone's taking care of themselves and checking in with their mental health. We know this can be really hard, especially if you're, you know, we're fortunate to be here with each other and our son. But if you're living alone,
And you want to take our son in for 2 weeks.
no.
He's been quarantined.
You know, we know that can be really hard. So I hope you're finding some good ways to pass the time and checking in with everyone around you. And we hope this doesn't severely affect you personally, you know? The virus itself. That's what I meant. Bill's like, what the fuck are you talking
I
about?
just want to see how long you could stretch that really serious thing out for.
Thank you to all our healthcare workers and grocery store workers and delivery people.
Yeah, true.
For real.
Yeah,
Thank you.
shout out. Anyone you want to call out by name?
Well, yeah.
All the Caitlins that we know.
All the Caitlins we know. Caitlin Lynch, Caitlin Blaine. Thank you for 2 people we know that are very, very close to us and important to us who are working like on COVID units right now and who are kicking ass. And,
Yeah.
you know, we think about them every day.
Keep it up.
So,
All right, everybody.
Anyway.
That's enough seriousness for this.
I know,
fucking
I just got like
podcast.
drinking this Prosecco and like getting a little serious. Like I need to like take a step back so I don't start crying
Oh my god.
on our podcast.
All right, let's wrap it up so I can go quarantine myself in another room. If you have suggestions on shows for us to watch, you can email us at trialbypilot@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at trialbypilot. And go on to Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify. Subscribe to the show, leave a review, and tell a friend.
Thank you to the Beats for providing our theme music.
Thanks, Beats.
Bye.
Bye.
What you